We start in the United States again this morning because in just a few hours' time, the President Joe Biden will host a make or break press conference amid mounting calls for him to withdraw from the race. The same day, one of the few radio stations allowed to interview Joe Biden after the presidential debate has revealed they edited the interview to make Joe Biden look better. Our Washington correspondent, Annelise Nielsen, she's across all the details. She joins us with the latest now. Annelise, so why is this such a critical day? Go through it.
Look, this is a critical day because the pressure's been mounting while Joe Biden's been hosting world leaders for NATO. While back home, we're now up to 11 members of Congress who said that they want Joe Biden to step aside for this presidential election. This revelation that there's been another huge interference by the Biden administration into a radio interview is just putting all that together for his critics to say that he can't handle the campaign trail, so he won't be able to handle another 4 years in the White House. This radio station, which was one of two granted interviews after his disastrous debate performance, has now put out a lengthy statement admitting that those who were part of the production team on the day responded to a request from the Biden administration to remove two parts of the interview. They said that they didn't think it was consequential at the time, but the management has since reviewed it and does think, especially in the context of the questions around Joe Biden's mental competency, do think that these two bits that were taken out are relevant. So they've published the actual original audio, which we can show to you now.
In addition to that, I have more blacks in my administration than any other president, all of the presidents combined, and major positions, cabinet positions. I don't know if they even call for their hanging or not, but they said they're convicted of murder.
That second one was apparently in reference to Donald Trump calling for the death sentence for the Central Park 5, which is obviously quite historic and interesting in the context. So this is all building as pressure mounts on Capitol Hill. We've had one of the most senior Democrats on Capitol Hill weigh into the debate around whether they should ask him to step aside within his own party, and he's admitted it's a very unsettled debate still.
Throughout this week, as House Democrats, we have engaged in a process of talking to each other. Those conversations have been candid, comprehensive, and clear-eyed, and they continue. Until that process has concluded, I'm not going to address what any outside stakeholders may have to say about this matter.
So, Pete, this is why this is such a critical press conference at this point in time. There won't be the cover of NATO happening after today. It's back onto domestic politics, and there's very little room for Joe Biden to move. But the other thing I wanted to show you is the fact that we don't get a lot of press conferences from Joe Biden generally, and this is kept track of by experts. And so this is from the American Presidency Project. These are the average number of press conferences that presidents have done each year. You can see Joe Biden there, 10.5, more than double for Donald Trump and Barack Obama, going back even to George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and George Bush Sr. We've got a huge number more. And then even if you look at the total numbers, I won't read through all of them, but look, Joe Biden's done 14, and we're coming up to the end of his presidency, at least the first term. And then look, I mean, compared to Barack Obama, 64, you have to go back to Ronald Reagan to get a modern comparison for the total number. And that's not including, of course, sit-down interviews, other interviews, and what they do rely on in the Biden administration is him yelling answers as he gets on and off Marine One.
Isn't that extraordinary?
Which is often a one-word response.
Just extraordinary as the leader of the United States. So few press conferences. Thank you, Annelise. We'll talk to you again next hour.